Welcome back. Sapna NYC serves the South Asian and Southeast Asian immigrant women community. Sapna is also addressing the digital literacy gap in this community with funding from the Bronx Community Foundation. Sapna recently expanded its digital literacy and access program, enabling more women to gain technology skills in their own language. Here to tell us more is the Executive Director for Sapna NYC, Diya Bassu-Sen. Diya, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now, can you tell me a little bit more about Sapna NYC?
Sure. So SEPNA is a community-based organization that offers free holistic social services that center the South Asian immigrant women in our community. And so we offer a really wide range of culturally attuned programming, but we center our fostering women's empowerment, addressing health inequities, and building our community power.
Now, can you tell me a little bit more about the name and its meaning?
Sure. So Sapna actually means dream in Bangla and other South Asian languages. And so we see ourselves as a place where women can actually begin to dream and also get help to realize those dreams.
Now, why is there a need to promote health and social justice for the South Asian immigrant women in New York City?
I think one of the beautiful things about New York is how vibrant our immigrant communities are, but it means also that there's over 200 languages spoken in New York City. And honestly, the services that a lot of those communities need just aren't accessible in the way that they need to be. And so community-based organizations like SEPNA step in to address some of those health needs to make sure that our communities are getting information they need, services they need, in a way that makes it accessible.
Now, what are some of the challenges this community faces?
I think it's a wide range of challenges, some of which are the same as any other kind of working class community in New York City, but then also the challenges of being immigrants in a place where you don't understand the system, everything's new, language proficiency is something that people are still working on. And so we find that oftentimes they're not able to they don't know what services they can get. If they realize where to go, they have trouble sometimes communicating. And also just a lot of times there are not Bengali services.
Now, I want to talk a little bit more about the Digital Literacy and Access Program. First, can you just explain what inspired the creation of this program for this community?
Sure. So our digital literacy program was really born out of the community and at the request of the women we serve. So we do annual community meetings to give us a chance to hear from our community. And women were citing a lack of digital literacy as a huge barrier in terms of education, workforce development, and just kind of general participation in the community. So in 2018, we decided to start building this program out with the first pilot classes started in 2019. We were really hoping to grow that and do more in 2020, and then of course the pandemic hit. So all of that was kind of put on pause. But we've been really excited after the pandemic to be growing that program even more. So now we have 3 levels, so level 1 through 3, taking women from who have never even touched a computer all the way to using Google applications.
Now, I want to talk about that a little bit more. What does it mean to struggle with digital literacy, and what are some of the barriers that can happen when that is something that you struggle with?
I think a lot of times we don't think about how challenging it is when you've literally never touched a computer. So many of us are so used to using it in our everyday lives that we don't really put ourselves in that position. And so not having access to a computer or information through a computer means that really you impact all areas of someone's life. Right? When you think about healthcare access, making appointments, accessing your information, when you think about education and being able to enroll in programs or do online courses, when you think about even something as simple as like a SNAP recertification for food stamps, people have to actually take off a day from work to go into a center. Or during the pandemic, we had community members who were paying other people from their unemployment benefits because they didn't know how to do the recertification. So really it impacts everything, and it kind of perpetuates that cycle of poverty for our communities.
And I love that you mentioned that for even some life-saving programs, it's necessary because everything is moving online. Maybe back in the day where people would use paper or just go in person, people will take time out of their day just to be told, "Hey, you can do it on the app." And I know that's a struggle for a lot of New Yorkers, especially those from older communities. Can you explain, how this could also help not just the community? Not just the community in general, but just like every New Yorker that kind of struggles with this.
Yeah, I think what you mentioned is absolutely correct, right? It's not just for immigrants, but it's also a lot of our older community members, a lot of just people who haven't had kind of the privilege and access growing up. And we find that if you are able to kind of give that information in a way that's free and kind of slowly walks them through step by step, something that could be kind of scary and hard for them becomes easy. And, it takes time, but they're able to kind of gain these skills and they're able to access a whole world that they didn't have. It even helps with things like depression or loneliness because you have a whole way to communicate with the world as well from your home.
Now, I understand that the Bronx Community Foundation played a big role in being able to help expand the program. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the efforts they made?
Sure. I think we've been so lucky with a lot of our partners who've invested in this work. After the pandemic, we really wanted to take advantage of the moment we were in and to grow our program. It was so apparent, right, like how much it was needed with even something like a COVID vaccine appointment. And so we were able to get funding from government, from corporate, and then through the foundation as well. I want to shout out also our Majority Leader Amanda Farias and Council Member Tiffany Caban, who were some of our early supporters as well. And this year we were excited to add the Bronx Community Foundation too. And so through their support, we were able to add 4 more classes to our year. So this year we did a total of 13 computer classes, which is over 300 hours. They also invested in our staff capacity to be able to create this 3rd level, which we newly are offering this year. So we did 2 pilot classes of that. And they also donated 10 laptops so that we're actually able to do classes fully in our office instead of only relying on the public libraries to host us. So we've been able to better meet the needs in the community by doing evening classes, offering more practice hours, and just time for them to use the laptops.
Now, can you walk us through what someone could expect as their typical day in the program and what classes will they take?
Sure. So the first level literally starts with teaching people like this is a monitor, this is a mouse, this is how you place your hands. So we assume that somebody coming in doesn't have any background, and we slowly work them through that foundational program. Once they've completed that level, the second level actually introduces them to emailing and kind of everything from how to create a good email, how to add a signature, all the skills they would need if they were actually working and using email as well. And then level 3 now teaches them about Google applications like Google Sheets, Google Docs, the calendar, so that people actually hopefully can be able to use it in their everyday life as well. So students each level has 8 classes as well as 8 practical practice classes too. So they get a chance to learn new material and then another day to actually master it and do activities. And then at the end of the program, we do like a class celebration. So we celebrate their successes with certificates and food, and it's just about community as well.
Now, I understand that your team is preparing a report on the digital literacy gap in Southeast Asian communities. Can you tell me more about that?
I think one of the things we so often see is that there really just isn't data on our communities. And, I think as we all know, when there's no data, it's hard to identify the problem as well as the solutions that exist. So we are trying to take all the information we have from the classes we've done and to share that in a report that hopefully will help not just our organization and our community, but other communities who need similar services. So we really sincerely believe that in order for our community to thrive, we need all communities to thrive. And so we hope that the knowledge that we've gained will be useful to other people as well.
Now, women in the South Asian community often don't have many spaces where they can feel safe. How does Sapna ensure that they welcome their clients and ensure they get a sense of belonging and safety when they walk through the doors?
Yeah, I think even more than safety, it's the idea that there's very little places in the community that are designed for them and by them and centering them. And so Sapna is a place that is uniquely for South Asian Bengali women. And everything we do, everything we, from kind of our staff to how we design our programs to how we get feedback, is centering those women. So it's not just about direct services, it's also about fostering that community feeling. And so women come, they're able to make new friends, they're able to have a trusted resource when they're new and they really don't know who to ask about things. And they're able to ask questions knowing there won't be any judgment and share their worries or concerns that they maybe don't share anywhere else.
Now, where can people go to learn more about the program or to sign up?
Sure. So we try and make it as easy as possible so people can sign up whatever way is easy for them. They can send us an email at info@Sapna NYC. They can reach us on social media through a DM. They can call us, or they can even just stop by through at our office any day as well.
I love the stop by, because I know that is, people are trying to step away from it, but a lot of people love the ability to just kind of see a person and know that there's somebody there that can help them. Can you explain why that's also something that you kind of wanted to keep within the organization?
Absolutely. I think that, right, when we think about the digital divide, it also is with kind of that feeling that you get when you step in somewhere and you can actually talk. Right? Maybe they don't know how to email, maybe they don't know how to find the phone number, but maybe someone told them, oh, I went to an organization and it's on Waterbury Avenue, across from the school. And that's the way a lot of people come to us, especially some of our older women. They'll stop by and they'll say, I heard about you and this is the problem I have. Can you help?
I love that. Now, why is it important to give women a chance to gain technology skills in their own language?
I think we don't think about how daunting it is to learn something completely new, and especially to learn something new as an adult. So when we talk about our students in our level 1 class, 50% have never touched a computer before, right? 77% have never taken any sort of computer class. So these are people who are brand new to this space, and being able to do it in a language that you're comfortable in with people who are in a similar situation as you makes it so much easier. It also means that people don't have to wait to master English before they can start learning computers, right? It can take a long time to learn English, and so you can get moving and learn more quickly and get ready to work even faster. So I think it really helps people gain confidence and gain skills that are really necessary in the world we live in right now.
Well, with that, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I know that this is a topic that we often don't think about in terms of needs of the community, just in general. I know we talk about food and poverty, but access to the internet and digital literacy can literally save so many people. So I think it's important that there is a community out there that is, focusing on this to help, people kind of move forward with society. So with that, again, I want to thank you so much.
And thank you so much for having me.
To learn more about their efforts and their programs, please visit sapnanyc.org. We have to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Open right after this.